Watertown traffic, Duchess 9 X-ray Golf, taxiing to runway 7 for VFR pattern work. Watertown.
Well, welcome everybody back to the Flying Doghouse. We're sitting in the
Watertown traffic, November 7-1 Bravo departing runway 25, Watertown.
Watertown to Buffalo. We'll get started with the live stream here in just a couple of minutes. Hey, we're doing a mic check here. Mic check.
Watertown traffic, November 8-4 Papa Alpha departing runway 25, Watertown.
And we are doing a VFR flight today. We'll be using Sayintentions. It's going to have a fly over toward Niagara Falls. We are continuing our USA cross-country tour. So kick back and relax and have about a 45-minute flight.
Watertown traffic, Piedmont 8424, 4 mile final runway 28.
All right, I do hope everybody is keeping well. Get going here in just a couple minutes. Again, we are at Watertown, making our way over to Buffalo, New York. We are holding short runway 25. This is an uncontrolled airfield, so we have already done our traffic announcement and we'll be departing. So we'll get going here in about 4 minutes. Departing. So we'll get going here in about 4 minutes.
Watertown traffic, November 10 tree, November uniform departing runway 7, Watertown.
Watertown traffic, Piedmont 6528, taxiing to the ramp, Watertown.
Traffic announcement. Okay, we're about 2 minutes before our live stream start and departure. And I do hope everybody is keeping well. We'll be going to enjoy some of the scenery in the upstate, make our way across to the Great Lakes. So, next portion of scenery to take a peek at will be of that ilk as we make our way to the west. Stream health is looking good. Audio sounds good with the audio check. The first leg I recorded
Watertown
without
traffic, Baron
my
1 Delta Tango,
voiceover,
departing runway 25, Watertown.
just to give everybody the experience of just listening to the aircraft, taking in the scenery, and then partaking of the Say Intentions portion of the audio. So, at any rate, we'll get going here in just a sec. And if you have joined the live stream, welcome. Good to have you along. I do have my cowl flaps open while I'm sitting on the ground, so I will close those prior to our departure. And we'll get going. And we are squawking 5561. And we'll make a broadcast here on CTAF.
Watertown traffic, Phenom 4 Tango Echo, departing runway 25, Watertown.
We have an invisible aircraft departure in front of us. Watertown traffic, Speed Racer 783, departing runway 25, Watertown. All right, parking brake is coming off. And if you're joining the live stream replay, welcome. And if you are live with us, welcome aboard. We are taxiing onto the active at runway 25 in Watertown. And we're going to make our way over to Buffalo. So we are going to run them up and take off. And we are in the Black Square Baron tonight. You're coming up. And jump outside here. Get our flaps back in here as well.
Watertown traffic, Piedmont 8424, taxiing to the ramp, Watertown.
Earlier live stream in the week, I was having some issues with trim not working correctly. So far, seems to be behaving itself. So using Spat next for all those fun things. And we're continuing to use chase plane. So interested in where these camera views are coming from. Kind of working through that stuff. And I think we're starting to at least build up a little bit of muscle memory in terms of how this works. Get our aircraft trimmed out here. I think a little bit more reasonable for this one. any rate, I hope everybody's keeping well. Curious to see what folks have picked up out of the store this week, if anything. It seems like every time I do a video these days, it's announcing yet another update on the B-25 Mitchell. We are on our way. To Wheeler departure here. Wheeler departure, good morning. Speed Racer 783 type Beechcraft B58 is with you at 1,800 feet, requesting flight following to Buffalo.
Speed Racer 7, radar contact.
Radar contact. Speed Racer 783. Stick here on chase view for a bit. Make our way across. So we're planning on doing at least one leg of this cross-country tour a week. But those will be announced over on the channel. Speaking of the channel, I did release a Substack article about RAF Debden. I'm also in the process of doing some additional historical research about the U.S. 8th Air Force and then the fighter groups that are based or that were based during World War II at RAF Debden. So there's quite a lot more information out there that I happened upon on the internet. So I'm going to write a couple of articles just highlighting the history of that airfield, just to raise some awareness and add some additional context to the scenery that we'll be releasing over on Flightsim.to. So, pretty satisfied with the state of the state. So over the next day or so, we'll be pushing that out live and getting a needed update. We've planted trees and added some additional some buildings and things. And based on some of the photography I have discovered with that additional research that I just referred to, I'm probably going to add a few more things to the airfield just to kind of spice it up. At any rate, we are continuing to make our way across to Buffalo here. Get ourselves back more onto to our intended magenta line here. And we'll jump back in the cockpit. There's a good belly shot. We'll ride with that for a minute. And we'll jump back inside the plane. making our way along the coast of Great Lake here. And one of the things that really is impressing me is the smoothness of the camera transitions that I'm getting now in chase plane. So if you had asked me 2 weeks ago after I did the initial install whether or not this was more appropriately targeted for folks who are making content or just, sim enthusiasts, I would have given you a very different answer. I think this adds much to everyone who is flying in the sim. There you go. An open mind, right?
Juliet India Victor, contact Toronto Center on 124.675.
124.675 for Juliet India Victor. Good day.
We're continuing to make some good progress. More of a southbound route here instead of on the Magenta. But we're not in a hurry tonight. We're just going to enjoy the fly. So our next leg, we'll take off from Buffalo, and then we'll make our way over the falls, and we'll check that out as a part of the next in the series. Should be fun. And there's not going to be a lot of handoff or traffic chatter from Sayintentions tonight. This will be relatively quiet. Well, if you are joining the live stream, welcome. Or if you're watching the replay, thanks for joining in. We are in
Speed Racer 7, contact Syracuse approach on 134.275.
We're in the Black Square Baron Pro. And we'll go ahead and take care of this comm. We'll touch base with Syracuse. Syracuse approach. Good morning. Speed Racer 783 type Beechcraft 58 is with you at 1,600 feet. Final destination Buffalo.
Speed Racer 783, Syracuse approach. Good morning, Richland altimeter 29901.
Richland altimeter 29901, Speed Racer 783. Let's go back to Chase View here for a minute. And we're coming up on a power plant, it looks like. I do have nameplates turned off tonight just to get rid of some of that clutter. have a couple of sceneries we're working on right now. So,
Citation 766, contact Boston Center on 135.25.
As I mentioned earlier, I do expect that to release shortly. And we are also working on an outer landing field in France in the Normandy area. So
Conquest 2 Juliet Papa, contact Boston Center on 120.35.
that one is
120.35 for
final
Conquest 2 Juliet
development
Papa.
phase and should be ready for testing in the next week or two. The fun thing about building scenery is it's never really finished, right? It's just released. But we'll continue to evolve that. We're going to revisit some of the previously released fields that we have done. We'll take a look at the Papua New Guinea locations that we did about a year and a half ago, I guess now. See if we need to make any tweaks and make some changes based on some of the sim updates. I'm sure that some of the issues that I have fixed at RAF Debden will also be in play for potential repair in Papua New Guinea. It is a never-ending rabbit hole. Building scenery is quite a bit of fun, so just have not had time to dedicate as much as I would like to getting some of this stuff out the door. Still have some other things that are in the queue that I am most anxious to finish up. Among which is a Coast Guard station that we are working on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So we have some custom objects that we are in the process of wrapping. And there's also some very good companion freeware from other devs that would also be downloadable as well. And we'll be making the recommend on that as well when we launch our Coast Guard station. There's a lighthouse on the Outer Banks that also has some custom scenery done to it. It's quite good, and it's within visual range of that Coast Guard station currently working on too. So again, a number of scenery projects back in play. More of that to follow. And I'm also planning on doing a whole series of videos on other
November
devs.
724 Alpha Tango, contact Boston Center on 120.35.
In terms of what I would call
120.35 for November 724 Alpha
our frequent flyer airfields that we use over and over again that we think that stand, head and shoulders above other folks. So we're going to look at Kern Valley for one. That'll be one of the examples that we'll take a peek at. Edwards Air Force Base is another, as is Nellis in Las Vegas. I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to do a walk around at Edwards and show off that airfield, and then take off and make a cross country over to Nellis, and then do the same thing there. So those are exceptional. And we're also going to look at RAF Valley, which has been remade. So it has had quite an upfit done to it. So we'll go back and revisit that as well. But anyway, just to kind of give you an idea of the next upcoming series of videos that you're going to see on the channel. Along with the usual smattering of aircraft reviews and such. And I think once we get past the initial install release and then stabilization for the B-25 Mitchell, I'm going to do the cold and dark. I'm going to hold off until the velocity of those updates kind of slows down, just so that we'll have a longer term look at what that really is all about. go ahead and put out my group flight plug for the weekend. So over on Virtual Flight Online, we are doing a joint group flight with our friends at My Air, and Jonathan Beckett is going to be playing guest host for that particular flight over on Virtual Flight Online. It's at 2000 UTC. And it's a VFR flight. We do use transmitter and join FS, and we use our Discord, our events Discord, for comms. So this one will be fun. There are several folks who are in the My Airspace that also are members on Virtual Flight Online, so we're going to get together and have a fly. So we're looking forward to that. We are continuing to make our way along here on the shore of the lake. And we're probably a good 30% into the flight here, coming up on our first waypoint that we put in the flight plan. And we put the flight plan in using a little nav map. And I see that my trim has gotten all jacked up again. Need to figure out root cause, what's driving that. I've not seen this behavior for quite some time. So there's something afoot. We'll get it situated. Not that big of a deal. Just wrestling with the stick a little bit more than I would like.
Experimental 5-1 Golf, contact Boston Center on 135.25.
Over to Boston Center on 135.25. Experimental 5-1 Golf.
See if I can switch over to the browser and just give everybody sort of a feel for a little nav map if you haven't seen it. And obviously, I'm still flying the airplane, so I don't want to stay over here too long. But let me I'll transition over to this. So you can see it's tracking our route. Our airplane is displayed here for us. And then we also have injected traffic that's showing up as well, adding some realism. But you can see the flight plan is here.
Contact Cleveland Center on 128.025.
So this one's straightforward, right? It's point to point with a waypoint in the middle.
Good day.
Anyway, it's a great little tool. If you don't have it, it's a freeware and available for download. I'll try to remember to put a link to the download page for a little nav map in the description of the video once we finish the stream. So there we go. There's that. And we're coming up about on our halfway point. Well, for right now, we're just kind of taking in some scenery. And I am giving a quick look over on Flightsim.to to see what else has been shoved out the door on a recent basis, but really nothing.
Speed Racer 7, contact Rochester approach on 123.7.
Nothing to give a specific shout out during the flight. We'll do a pilot's lounge next week. Kind of catch up on what's been going on in the sim. Rochester approach, good morning. Speed Racer 783 is with you 1,500 feet inbound to Buffalo, New York.
Speed Racer 783, Rochester approach, good morning, North Rose, altimeter 29901.
North Rose, altimeter 29901, Speed Racer 783. And if you've joined the live stream, welcome. We're cross-country flighting tonight. We're making our way from Watertown over to Buffalo, New York. We're in the Black Square Baron Professional. And we're using Sayintentions and Chase Plane. We're just kind of cruising along here at about 1,000 feet, just kind of taking in the low altitude scenery here along the lake. And this is just a good excuse to jump in the sim and have a fly and also experience some of the world here as we go. So, yeah, this is another leg of our USA cross-country series that we're doing. And we have been using Sayintentions for all of it. The original set of flights that we did with this, we started in Key West and then made our way all the way up the eastern seaboard, and now we are working our way to the west, and we'll be, in general terms, following along the Great Lakes. So. And we did put this on a bit of a pause or a hiatus during the winter months. Back at it again. Buffalo departure. Good morning. Speedozer 783 is with you. 900 feet. And we'll be making a request for clearance to land shortly.
Speedozer 7, Roger. Altimeter 2956. Say request when ready.
Altimeter 2956. Will request. Speedozer 783. And we probably got another 45 nautical miles to go. We're not in a huge hurry here.
Contact Rochester approach on 123.7.
Contacting Rochester approach 123.7, Speedozer 783. And Rochester approach. Good morning, Speedozer 783 with you 1,200 feet inbound to Buffalo, New York.
Speedozer 783, Rochester approach. Good morning, Williamson, Sodas, altimeter 2991.
Williamson, Sodas, altimeter 2991, Speedozer 783. Good morning. I've been pushing the aircraft hard on this flight tonight. Yeah, we're just taking in some views. I think we do have a pending black square release of the, I believe it's the Caravan. So, looking forward to checking that out in the next bit. I have been very, very impressed with the Baron and the Bonanza, and I held off on purchasing these two for quite some time. And they are quite worth the money, in my opinion. But that's just me. If the Baron and the Bonanza aren't your jam, then maybe it's not for you. If you're just doing an occasional with this kind of airframe, then maybe not. Your mileage will vary. One of the things that I am enjoying about chase plane is the impact of the atmospherics on the cameras. You see that we're definitely getting a little more camera jostled than you might experience with the standard camera set. And the transitions are just smooth. I am definitely now in the fan camp, so looking forward to the release continuing to evolve. I know that there are some things with eye tracking and such that people have talked about. Probably needed some additional love, if you will. All right, back to chase plane view here for a bit. So we are flying VFR this morning. We are squawking 5561. And we'll be making our way into Buffalo. Staring at the little map is there's quite the parade of aircraft that are making their way over into Toronto. And that's really the fun of having traffic injection right in the sim, is to experience some of that. Bounced around a little bit today. Again, if you've joined us, welcome to the cross-country live stream tonight here in the Beechcraft Baron Professional. We're making our way from Watertown over to Buffalo, New York. Probably about 35 nautical miles out now from Buffalo. Well, I guess our shuffle to Buffalo is almost done. Next leg of the flight, we'll be taking off. We'll be departing Buffalo and making our way across Niagara Falls. So we'll check that out in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. See how that is progressing and looking these days. Making our way across. Buffalo departure. Buffalo departure, speed racer 783, requesting clearance to land Buffalo.
Speed Racer 7, clear to land, wind 230 at 24, gusting 35, altimeter 2957.
Cleared to land, winds 230 at 24, gusting to 35, altimeter 2957, speed racer 783.
Speed Racer 7, contact Rochester approach on 123.7.
Rochester approach, good morning. Speed racer 783 is with you with requesting clearance to land Buffalo. And we'll play along.
Speed Racer 7, cleared to land Buffalo. Wind 230 at 24, gusting 35, altimeter 2957.
Okay, we should have quite a headwind here. This is an 8,800-foot runway. Stopping shouldn't be a problem.
November 508, radar contact. Maintain VFR at or below 5,000. 508.
Okay, this should take us right to the end of the feathers here at Buffalo for runway 23. And if you have enjoyed the flight, please give us a like and a subscribe. We'd love to have you as a channel member. Some new content coming your way and some new scenery. We're looking forward to that. And continuing to host group flights over on Virtual Flight Online. We're doing a joint group flight with the fine folks over at My Air. So if you're curious and would like to partake in that group flight, please feel free to join us over on the Virtual Flight Online Discord for comms. And we'll be using Join FS.
128.025 for November 749er. Good day.
So that particular flight's bring your own sim, so we are using Flightsim 2024, but it's open to other supported platforms for Join FS.
Over to Cleveland Center on 128.025, heat November 603 Zulu Bravo.
And I'm anticipating having some folks join us in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We've got Jonathan Beckett, who's hosting this joint effort this week. I will be back on docket for a the beginning of a series of group flights in Japan. So I'm excited about that. We'll be doing leg 1 of that trip. So we'll be in and around the Tokyo area, taking in some of the crafted scenery that has been added during the Japan update.
Racer 7, contact Buffalo Niagara Tower on 120.5.
Niagara Tower, Speed Racer 783 is with you on approach to runway 23.
Speed Racer 783, Buffalo Niagara International Airport Tower, runway 32 and 23 are active. Enter right base for runway 32.
That's interesting. We've got a runway change, but that's fine. Right base, runway 32, Speed Racer 783. All right. 2468, time to aviate. Get ourselves resituated here. And get ourselves set up for runway 32 instead. Ignoring weather conditions with impunity. Meanwhile, we'll take in some farmland here. Alright, this ought to be good for our run in to intercept the feathers. We're going to shoot a visual approach. We're not going to do an ILS approach. At any rate, back to the group flight. We are looking forward to the combined effort this weekend. So please join us. There is definitely more information about the group flights over on the official forum as well. So there's that, and then we also have a virtual flight online newsletter. Join. Interested in a virtual airline, then virtualflight.online might be a good place to go check out as well. Almost there. else needs to focus. Having a bit of a flab out instead of a walkabout. But that's okay too. Okay. Now we've got the aircraft pointed toward the feathers. So there we go. Just having way too much fun tonight, I think. Supposed to be fun, right? If it's not fun, you shouldn't do it. Let's make our way in here. Get back to the business at hand of putting this on the ground. Yep, there's definitely some shenanigans going on with Spad Next around my trim settings. I continue to do interesting things. Over the top of a municipal here. This looks like Niner Golf 3. Well, that one might be interesting to check out later. Actually might be fun to depart from making our way over into the falls. Anyway, we'll figure that out at a different time and place. All right, jump back out the chase view here. Some of the scenery on approach. Speedometer 783, extended base leg 4, runway 32, requesting clearance to land.
Speedway to 7, winds 230, 24, gusting 35, runway 32, clear to land.
Winds 230 at 24, gusting to 35, runway 32, clear to land, speedometer 783. And we would not be doing this in the real world. We're just going to land happily here.
Mountain 8387, lose 23024, gusting 35, runway 32, cleared to land.
Clear to land 32, Mountain 8387.
Okay, we do have the airfield in sight now.
Approaching runway 23. Caution, caution.
All right, we are making our way in here. Although be it casually. We are down. Well, welcome to Buffalo. Thanks for being along on the flight tonight. We are going to leave it here. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. Love to have you as a channel member. Until next time, folks. Cheers, y'all.